Today I'm gonna start the resurrection of my 1975 Chevy Blazer that hasn't been on the road for 13 years, and I hope you enjoy watching it. So as you can see, the car has seen better days. It was, as I said, last on the road 13 years ago, and it's been sitting ever since. The guy I bought it from had it in storage for all the time in a tractor shed. So as you can see, it's got a lot of bird crap on it, and unfortunately it's been stored with the top off and with the hood off. So the whole interior is full of bird crap, and also the engine bay. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna remove the top, and we're gonna take the hood off, and we're gonna hose the whole car out. So as you can see, the car is really gross inside. It's got bird crap all over it. So also got this cool 80s looking center console, which I will probably remove. Also it's got a column shift, floor shift, but we're gonna go to column shift, I believe. Also I got a soft top width, which is good, but also needs a lot of cleaning. Fun thing about this car is it's got a 454 big block someone swapped in. I have never heard it ran, so we're gonna start it up in this episode. And here on the fender well, you can see just how bad it's been with all these birds, but we're gonna clean that up. So finally, after having this car for 6 months, I've taken the top off for the first time. I haven't done any work to this car since I bought it 6 months ago. It's only been sitting. So now we can finally look inside. And as you can see, got a lot of stuff that we're gonna remove. And we're gonna give this a thorough cleaning. Also, we can look at the engine better now. A 454 in all its powerless glory. I'm guessing we will have very good fuel economy with this. So next step, pressure washing. One thing I want to show you is these awesome old floor mats. The Chevy and the Bullhorn. Sad you can't buy rubber mats like this anymore. So here is the result after our first wash, and the car is looking much better than I expected it to be. The paint actually is in very good condition, despite being covered in bird crap for about 12 years. Also, I just made some quick polish attempt here on the front of the fender to see what we could accomplish later on, and I must say it looks very good. Someone put a lot of effort when they restored this car sometime. But all in all, I think it's better than I expected. Here's how the engine turned out, a little cleaner at least. We have some tidy up to do with all this wiring and other stuff. The interior doesn't look very different, but at least it's a bit nicer and something to work with. I have a new carpet in black ordered from Rock Auto. Should arrive soon. Steering wheel looks much better. So now all we have to do now is continue with the rest of the interior parts. So it's the next day and the car's been drying overnight, and as much as I want to get right onto starting the engine, I got some things I have to do first. When I pulled this huge center console, it had a bunch of wires running to it, and I guess a lot of them are positive connection when I attach a battery, and instead of isolating the cables, I'm gonna go ahead and remove them directly, and as you can see, the wiring is a bit of a mess. Also, you can see I already made some progress with the wiring harness. It's got a bunch of strange buttons, like this one here. I think it's an extra start button, but we will look into that. Okay, so I'm done with the electrical work for now. This is all the wiring I removed so far. Looks much better here under the dash without all that hanging wires. We've got some left to do, but these are all the ones I was worried about getting grounded and starting some cable fire. So now it's time to push it into the garage. Okay, so I finally got the car inside of my garage, and I was so anxious to try and start it, so I dropped in a battery and I tried to press this little button here, which I assume that they have connected the starter with, and unfortunately it's not looking good so far. Okay, so as you can hear, something is wrong with the starter, and that's bring me back to when I started when I talked to the guy I bought it from, and actually he said that there was something wrong with the starter. So I have to go under and check what is wrong. So my first thought when I heard this problem below the car, I assumed that the flywheel flex plate gears were shaved off, since that's not an uncommon problem. But when I looked under, the gears on both the starter and the flex plate was looking decent, shouldn't be any problem. But when I cut the zip ties to the starter button and dragged it under the car and tried to push it while I was under, and what I saw was that the gears, when they touch each other, they move out, so they hit each other like this and not like this, so the engine won't turn over. So something is doing that, so the starter is moving away from the flex plate. So I tried to loosen the bolts and tried to push the starter closer, but it didn't work. So I checked, because sometimes you put some chims here so you can adjust the engagement on the starter. But on our original starter there are not supposed to be any, and there wasn't, so that's not a problem either. But I saw this. So you can see, maybe see this crack along here. So my guess is when the gear touches the flywheel, and of course the engine, it has some resistance in turning over, so the gear is want to push away from the flywheel. At the same time it wants to turn it over, and this is flexing away, so the gear is not reaching out far enough to engage the flex plate correctly. So unfortunately I have to get a new starter, and I thought that wasn't going to be a problem, because he said I include a starter with the car, and that sounded nice, so I thought I would install it on the engine instead. But the first thing I noticed is that the whole pattern is different. But actually Chevy starters sometimes can have this whole pattern. I haven't even checked if the engine has it, but before I even tried that, I saw this. They are mirrored against each other, which means this starter is supposed to sit on the other side of the engine, which means it won't work at all. And I also noticed this. It says 400 Pontiac big block, so it's of no use for us, especially since I don't drive Pontiac at all. So unfortunately this will set us back some time, because I don't have a starter at the moment. But I will have to buy one used or get a new one, and we will be back trying to start the car again. So it's been a week since my last clip. I ordered a new starter from Rock Auto, and which I have now installed, and now we're gonna try it for the first time if that was the problem that I thought it was. And I'm really glad to hear that. That was the only problem, a faulty starter. So now I wanna try and start the car, but before that I have to address some ignition stuff. The spark plug wires are a disaster, and might as well change the plugs while we're at it, and I'm gonna check the ignition timing. So let's do that first. Now I have put in some new spark plugs and the new spark plug wires, and as you can see it's a different distributor cap, because I tried with the distributor that was in the car and I didn't get any spark, so I put in a whole new distributor, and this will be the first try with all the new ignition stuff with the new distributor. So for some reason there's still no spark, so I have to do some more digging to find the problem. After some searching I found out that the problem was that on this brand new distributor, one of the 3 wires going from the distributor to the distributor cap had fallen off its connector. And I guess that's something you have to deal with buying a Chinese reproduction part. But I changed the connector, and actually I've been cranking the car so much, so fuel had started to come through the carburetor, and when I finally found the problem, I tried to see if I had spark. The car actually fired up right away. So I'm very glad that the car started that easily, only changing the distributor. I don't know what was wrong with the first distributor, but I guess it doesn't matter. But that will be all for this episode. In the next episode I will do some small things before we try and test drive the car. So thanks for watching this episode so far.